Okay, we're live.
Rolling. Episode 6. Didn't we say that if we did this, it would be like a big deal last time? Last time we said like we can't be the people that don't keep going after 5.
Yeah, but maybe episode 6 is where a lot of people drop.
Oh, dude.
So now we have to keep going.
Yeah, we're going to keep going. Should we just tell everybody that's listening that we want to do 50 before we decide if we want to keep going? Or
if you want to set that expectation on us.
I just feel like that's a high expectation, but
50 episodes. Because we don't want to get this impression. Like, I want to keep doing that. I'm having a lot of fun.
Me too. It's a lot of fun.
Well, then let's just say 50. We're going to be at 50. See you at 50.
See you at 50.
Or maybe meet you at 50, because we will probably have a lot of viewers.
After 50 episodes, I want everybody that's listening now to comment pancakes on the video.
Okay, cool. So
that's the pancake gang.
There'll be 3 comments with pancakes.
And those
Storm, Lee, and Lewis. Or actually only 2. Storm, and then the Fast Forward podcast. Actually, probably only no one's going to remember to comment pancake.
No, I'm going to remember episode 50, pancake gang. Everyone that participated, it means they were early.
Yeah.
They got the early treats.
You're part of the pancake gang. How does it feel to be part of that?
Yeah. It's a reward. Maybe we can make like a pancake NFT.
Oh, wow.
And then like a syrup token.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Speaking of NFTs, did you see what Mark Zuckerberg...
We'll get to that. But anyway, yeah, it's been a pretty cool day at the office today. We got one of our new spaces just opened up. The back.
The dev room.
Well, the formerly dev room. Lewis is kind of sad about it. Should we get into that, Lewis?
I think we should get into that, because the dev room, development always gets last, you know? We're always being treated last, and we're being treated like dirt.
See, basically, just to give everyone some history, at our company, Tomorrow Inc., Lewis is leading the technology department, and they've always been getting the shaft, and we thought we would do a nice thing and give them their own private space with their own entrance.
As we so much deserve.
Loading dock, private bathroom, private working space, and not have to deal with the noise of the creative team. And then while Lewis is on the cruise, some of us colluded. We had a coup, and we basically decided that logistically it made more sense to put the production team into the formerly known as the dev room. It is now the production room. We just got a fresh coat of paint in there today. The new desks arrived, and it's probably pretty painful for you.
Oh, very much so.
But I just hope you'll forgive us and understand that it has nothing to do with where you come from or your people or your kind.
Yeah.
And this is not a segregation thing. It's just, it just logistically makes more sense for the production team.
Yeah.
They're loud. They need access to the loading dock and the studio upstairs.
Yeah.
So they need the staircase.
They're better than us, clearly, right?
They're upper class citizens.
Yeah.
You're a second class citizen.
A second class citizen. Yeah, they have blue eyes, blonde hair.
Okay. All right.
Just kidding. Okay. But
Episode
6, Lee.
6.
Want to run that intro?
All right, man. Welcome to the Fast Forward podcast. I'm your co-host, Lee.
I am your co-host, Lewis, and welcome to the fastest growing Canadian tech podcast in the universe.
This week, we are going to be discussing some innovation in solar, the new #1 business in social media, and a bar in a box. For this week's Rewind segment, we're going to look back at gambling and how it influences our culture today and the future.
We also have a new segment called Snips, where we talk about current events. I'm looking forward to that one.
I am too, but part of me feels like a little, I don't know, traumatized when I hear the word snips. I just hear Michael Scott going snip, snap, snip, snap.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, when you said snips just now, since Storm made that joke earlier.
We had to make sure credit was given where it was deserved.
When you said snips, my vas deferens started hurting, you know? And for those that you don't know that's like, I think the tube where your pee.
Your pee.
Vas deferens. I think I just pulled that from like grade 9 science class. Like I just came out of nowhere. I haven't used that word in years.
Pee? I thought that was like, that's a vasectomy, is it not?
No, I think the vasectomy does. Storm, maybe you can double check on
that.
Wait,
you think?
I just feel the pain. I just feel the pain in my vas deferens when you say snip. I just feel like, you know. But I think when you get a vasectomy, I think it cuts something else.
Yeah, because they don't cut.
I know.
Don't cut the cord to pee
I know that. I know that.
You think you just start?
That's just where
after you have kids, you just stop peeing.
I just identify with that pain there in that spot. I don't know the technical word. Maybe Storm can enlighten us.
You have 3 kids, man.
I don't even know what to Google right now.
Google what a vasectomy is, and then it should probably tell you like what that's cutting.
I looked this up on my work account too. So if you guys ever are looking at my search history and being like, why is Storm looking up vasectomies at work? You remember vasectomy is a surgery that makes a man unable to father a child, which we're all in agreement of that part so far. The doctor cuts and ties or seals the tubes that carry sperm. What did you call it?
I called them vas deferens earlier.
Yeah, that's what it's. That's
Wait,
what it is.
what?
pee.
I thought that's where you peed out of.
No. That's
the urinal tract.
That's what carries the sperm from the testicles to the.
Oh, so I had
penis.
the right word from the beginning.
Right word.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Pat myself on the back, even though I didn't know I was right.
Yeah, it was
Funny thing about my back, pat myself on my back is actually located on
My vas deferens. A little super bad reference there. That's the best way to start a podcast.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. So where should we start, Lewis? It's been an interesting week.
I think this week is best if we start off with a rewind because we got a lot to fast forward to this week.
All right.
So
what are we starting with, man?
cue that rewind.
What do you got for us, Lewis?
All right. So on March 19th, so this is going to happen on Saturday, but on March 19th, Nevada legalizes gambling. Wow.
In Nevada, which is where Vegas is, right?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big deal.
Well, it's a huge part of their history. So
economy.
Exactly. I actually read that gambling is still where most of Nevada's economy is coming from, like from the tax.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the whole state?
Yeah.
Damn.
So the state of Nevada wanted to lift the state out of the hard times of the Great Depression, so they legalized gambling. So that was kind of a play on their behalf to try and get people out of the Great Depression, which kind of a bit sad if you think about it, because whenever I walk into a casino, I feel a Great Depression upon myself.
Yeah. No shade to anyone that likes to gamble, but
No.
it definitely I feel like it's a weird time to start a new thriving gambling industry. maybe when the economy is bustling and people want to have fun, but like the Great Depression, weren't people struggling to find food?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, here's a casino so that you have a chance to like feed your family.
Yeah.
If you just gamble your last loaf of bread. That's probably what was happening. The buy-in
They're
was like
accepting loaves of bread as currency.
yeah.
Like you're just like tossing
like the poker chips were like quite literally like potato chips.
Yeah. Or like they dealt cards, but they're like on loaves of bread or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
Starvation's not a joke.
Yeah, no, it's not a joke. But at the time, that's why they did it. It was really sad. But here's a fun fact about this: they also legalized divorce at the same time,
which is like totally sensible. You just made gambling a thing, so now you have to have an answer for all the husbands that are going to drive their wives to the point of divorce.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Like you're gonna have all these toxic marriages, and then what's happening to the gambling industry? Their wives are like, you can't go to the casino anymore, or we're done, right? And now he's like, well, you know what? Legally, we can be done.
Yeah, it just makes sense. It's like let's gamble and let's legalize gambling and divorce at the same time. It honestly
kind of sad.
It's really sad.
Really sad. Yeah.
But organized crime at this point flourished in the first few decades of it becoming legal.
Well, I think organized crime obviously needs like laundering for their capital and expenditures, so they can build more criminal operations.
Enterprises.
And I think casinos are like a pretty useful tool for money laundering, right?
For sure.
So probably it allowed them to like expand their financial abilities by using them. I don't know how criminals like benefit from the casino directly, but I think indirect. I mean, everyone knows about Vegas and their like human trafficking and drugs and all those different things.
Yeah.
So it definitely does. Gambling does kind of breed crime in a way.
Oh, for sure. Well, think about it too. Like if you had like $100,000 and you needed that money, an easy way to liquidate it is just go to realistically, your chances of getting like at least half of your money back is pretty high. So if you just dealt it all in chips, even if you lost half of it, that's still better than not being able to use any of it, right?
Yeah. Is that how that works, laundering?
So with gambling, it's a bit different. Like everything is a bit different, but like once you go in with a bunch of cash, like they'll just give you chips. You gamble for a little bit, maybe you're there for 2-3 hours. Then, all right, I lost a bunch of money. I'm just going to go return it.
And then you just claim it as a win.
Yeah. Or a loss, whatever. So, yeah.
This is not financial advice. Anyone who's listening.
But it's funny because I was just thinking about this, how gambling first kind of became legal and how that's a thing. And that just reminded me of kind of the current state of how things are right now with cryptocurrency. The whole entire thing is basically gambling. and organized crime is also flourishing right now. So
yeah, it's a Wild West.
Yeah, I wonder what it's going to be like 20, 30 years from now when the regulators start kind of getting a hold of it.
I think they need to regulate it much quicker than that, because there are like everyone's grandmas are getting scammed for these crypto scams, and then they're moving all the money around, and then there's people just buying into these NFT projects that are just gambling projects. It just feels like unregulated gambling. Here in Ontario, we have the OLG, the Ontario Lottery. I don't know what the
Gambling Association or something
like that. Yeah. And the money that's made from that goes to the communities. Now, I don't know where it's going to exactly, like the Trillium Foundation, et cetera. But the money that they're making, these crypto bros are making off these like NFT projects that are basically just like gambling, games. That money's not going anywhere important. So I think my like philosophy is like exploiting people's like use of gambling and addiction of gambling is like only appropriate if it's like helping something good. Yeah. When you're exploiting like gambling addictions to just party and like have a bunch of money and be a big baller with a a Rolex and a private jet in California, like that to me is like kind of sad. So I hope they put some kind of stop to the.
We just don't know exactly, and that's kind of the issue. Is that because I'm pretty sure every place has some sort of OLG alternative for wherever they live. But no matter where you gamble, like even it's illegal to gamble on a website that asks for money that are not regulated by some sort of, centralized authority. So with cryptocurrency, you just dump a bunch of Bitcoin in, play like this makeshift slot machine that's like a game, like JavaScript game on the internet, and you just lose all your money that way. It's like, it's interesting.
And then somebody that gets your money is doing whatever the hell they want with it. And that's the tricky part, right? It's like gambling's fine if people want to do it, but just like make sure it's going to a good cause. Yeah. It's not just like getting people hooked and then it's just going to some random dude. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate.
And for sport gambling, that world, in Canada until 2021, like midway through the year, like August, was the first time that you could bet on a single game. That you could put money on, like if there was a game you were watching, you could put it on. Before it had to be like legally, it had to be parlay style. So you had to do 3 games on one ticket and you had to hit on all 3 games.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
so
really?
like, there's like new sport gambling rules that are like you're now no matter where you are, Canada and the States, like it's coming where you can just like gamble on a single game on your phone kind of thing. But it was illegal before. Yeah.
It's interesting how these apps have become like those gambling central hubs. Because back in the day, you'd have to like go to the the place, make the sports bets. You go to the horse racetrack or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's just all on these apps. But they're all privately owned. Like, why doesn't Canada make like an OLG sports betting app? Maybe they have one.
Yeah. I'm also wondering too, like, is there like some sort of like audit on the code of these like video games that people are playing to like determine the odds of how likely you're going to win something?
They have the bookies, right? That's what
like for sports,
yeah.
Specifically, yeah.
No, sorry, I was just meaning for like slot machines or like modern day video like game based gambling.
Yeah. So the game based ones, like the ones that like Drake plays and shit. Yeah. Where he plays, that's just programmed by the probability. It's the same probability in real life.
But like what I'm saying is like, how do we know that?
Oh, it's very true. Because like when you're there in person and they spin that thing, you're like, okay, 50-50 red and black. But like when it's programmed, you have no idea that it could be like lopsided or they have code that like, they must have some kind of auditing thing. There must be like an organization that reviews the code to make sure it's actually fair.
Going back to blockchain, eventually everyone will be able to see the actual randomization result, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
this is going to be open, so that's probably going to help with that for making legitimacy.
That'll probably take like 12 years to do that. Though,
yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, gambling it brought a huge industry of like illegal stuff like drugs, gambling, and drinking.
Speaking of drinking, Lewis, I don't know if you saw the story. Hold on, I gotta start over. That's too much.
I like to be a degenerate gambling. I also enjoy having a nice brew with me.
Yeah, you can be a degenerate in 2 ways. And one way, one company has actually made it really easy to not just drink a lot, but to build an Irish bar in a box is what they're calling it, an Irish bar in a box.
Sorry, what is it called?
An Irish bar in a box.
What is that?
So I think it's more like, I think the wording there is more just like marketing. I don't think they actually give you a whole bar in a box, but I'm pretty sure you can just order an Irish bar kit, and then it comes on like pallets, and it's pretty much like a prefab, pre-built out, pre-organized Irish bar. And I guess the reasoning is that Irish bars are incredibly profitable bars compared to the average like bar and grill, because of the that Celtic aura, the culture, the music, the cool art pieces. People just feel like spending more money. They want to indulge more. So there's something about the Irish bar that just, it makes sense. Irish pubs, like, you want to drink, there's a cultural piece to that. But apparently they make really good money, and they're really like templatable because they're all the same. They all have the same color and scheme and the same furniture and the same aesthetic and the same pieces.
Every Irish pub I go to looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's a framework, and it was like really repeatable. So
why do you think that is? Do you think it's just because of nostalgia?
Yeah, it's just the same thing. It's just the same. It's like when you go to a Chinese place and they have like fortune cookies, and they have like the Chinese writing on the wall, and they have chopsticks. And it's like the same things make you feel a feeling, and then they can kind of, rather than owning a franchise, you can call it whatever you want. Call it Louis Irish Pub.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have any franchise. You buy the kit, and you got the little 4-leaf clovers, and you got all the Irish pub stuff. But what was interesting about the story is that just the way that they took a business model and they just made it like an in the box version. So I was thinking to myself, like, what are some other businesses in a box business ideas? And I was thinking most restaurants, like franchises, are already pretty much this. They're already like, the branding, the menu boards, the furniture, all of that stuff is like in a box, and it comes, even the packaging for the products. But I was thinking, like, what would be kind of unique? And I was thinking maybe like a co-working space.
Okay.
Because obviously this is the reason that this came to mind, is because we have a co-working space that we own and operate. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, co-working spaces are pretty silly. Like, you just need like plants and printer, coffee machine. There's the same furniture that everyone likes, the live edge wood and like the stools, and desk clusters and chair. Like, I'm pretty sure you can make a co-working space in a box. And just depending on the size of your co-working space, you could probably, put it on a pallet, and everyone's after the same thing. Do you have any like, business in a box ideas? Any businesses you think that could be really?
Basically any business can go in a box and just be sent. I'm just thinking like that's basically what franchises are.
Yeah. Franchises will come with a brand, right?
Yeah.
But if you just did everything else.
And it'd be cool, because how a lot of these franchises have like super high demands on like every 5 years you must renovate.
Yeah.
It's just a subscription. It's like franchise. It's like a franchise subscription. So you order
franchise
it.
in a box.
Yeah, franchise in a box. It's sent, a big pallet is sent to you every 5 years. You must enter it.
Update your stuff.
Yeah.
So here's what I was thinking. I was thinking really like the box concept is really convenience and curation in a box for a premium. Because like you could go and find all the Irish pub shit. You could go find the art pieces, the furniture, the relics, whatever. But finding the right ones that will work, and then buying them all, the time it takes to do that will cost something. So if you can just do that once really well, like impeccably well, and then you can sell that work that you did 10,000 times to 10,000 Irish pubs, you'll make a killing, because it's like a high leverage business opportunity. So in my mind, I think the most ideal box businesses would be ones where the target audience is someone that really values convenience and curation. So it means that they're like, I want to pay a premium to know that the people that bought all these things and selected these items knew their shit and picked the good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think like businesses that would do well, and so rich people, right? So you could do like a guest room in a box, or what else did I have there? A home theater in a box, right? Because it's like, oh, now I know like I'm gonna get a good projector, good seats, good sound system, right? Like, what else? I'm just trying to think like what else could be.
Yeah.
What do like the rich people like desire?
If there was like a musician, like name like someone like Lil Yachty, and he's like, I have a music studio in a box.
Yeah.
And then you get these influencers, that are already in their niche and can provide it like that.
That's a huge one, because like literally I get emails all the time or calls all the time. Hey, I'm making a studio. What equipment should I buy? Because I was obviously used to own a recording studio. And that's a common one, actually, Storm. And the idea of having an influencer kind of put their stamp on it is kind of cool, too. because you don't need a product at that point. You can get Lil Yachty and say, hey, Yachty, I want you to use your brand. And then we're going to go and find all the right products, and we're going to get discounts from the owners of those products. And then we're just putting them in a bundle together and saying, hey, here's like the studio in a box. And then the cost to start that business is almost zero.
I wonder how many, because you were talking about like Chinese restaurants. I wonder how many places like this would benefit from a curated service like this, because how many times have you gone to the classic Italian spot in town or Chinese spot in town, and it's always like for the Italian places, it's always like the checkered overlay on the tables, and there's gum under the seats and everything. It clearly hasn't been updated in many years, but that's because they just chose not to. What if you had a box like that where it was like, again, it was like an Italian restaurant in a box where they sent you that every 5-10 years, and then that way it's like it's always updating their restaurant all the time, rather than having that kind of grungy looking.
Yeah. I think the businesses would never commit to 5-year subscriptions, but what you could do is just have like new models. So every year you have like the Italian restaurant 2022.
Yeah.
And then when they're like, hey, we need an update, they can just go get the latest curated model.
Yeah.
So I think but the thing is like,
that would kind of take away from it though. Like the grimier the place is,
it's like
usually
shawarma,
the better it is. Yeah.
Right? Like shawarma, you want the mom and pop. I actually, you know what? Shawarma restaurant in a box, because you get all the equipment and then you get all that shitty graphic design. Honestly, that graphic design is, shawarma restaurants have nailed. That's actually art form. I feel like they're like, there's like a career where you're like, I'm a shawarma restaurant graphic designer, and like your whole portfolio looks like trash. And you just do all the menu boards.
If I was a rich shawarma owner, I would go to the most expensive agency and I'd be like, make me the shittiest menu you can.
Yeah. I want the whole vibe to suck ass.
I don't want you to take any good pictures of my food.
Yeah.
But I want them to be very pixelated.
Yeah. I want you to downscale them like 10x. Then I want you to print it too big and make it blown out. And then I want like random fluorescent colors on my menu board.
The fonts need to be ugly, Comic Sans.
Yeah. And then the takeout menu cannot match anything that's on the main menu or on the menu boards. Like, they have to be completely different. Like, they were done by 3 different people. Can you do that for me? It's like, yeah, but that'll cost you extra. It's like a very like high-end service.
That needs to be a crappy menus in a box.
Yeah. Shawarma restaurant. I mean, maybe we should just like after the podcast try to do a quick start.
I think we should do the music one. You know your stuff. We just need to get an influencer and we just pair that together. And
I'm thinking there could be a whole business right there. I mean, maybe we should cut this part out of the podcast and no one knows what we're talking about. But really, the music one, honestly, like just like getting influencers to curate business setups is honestly a great idea. Like, there's probably one for a musician, and then there's probably one for, what do you think? Graphic designer in a box. You get into it, you get them. I don't know. Like, you just like curate a bunch of
probably
different.
Die if they were in there for too long, though.
Graphic designer in a box.
Just open it up, Josh pops out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dead body. That's what it would be.
I thought I was getting a laptop, but Josh, our graphic designer, is in the box. He had on his shirt, it just says, "Please feed me." It's like, oh shit, I left it in the box for 2 months. I didn't realize there's a person in there.
As long as we poke holes in it, we're right.
Yeah.
But you just gotta slide a hot dog in once in a while, right? You gotta make sure you feed them.
I think it just speaks volumes, though, and I think maybe this is we can end the story here. Is that curation and convenience, like doing those two, making something super convenient and having everything right.
Yeah.
It's a huge amount of money.
The box is a good idea. And then when you have a celebration every year, like St. Paddy's Day, which is yesterday, the day before we release this podcast episode, you can be the preferred vendor with like all the stuff, like all the, little hats and beads and like reoccurring sales. And then with the Chinese restaurant, like you were saying, if it's the year of the cat, you hit up all the Chinese restaurants that you sold the business in the box in, and then all of a sudden they get the cat stuff for that year. They get the dog stuff for the year after that, right? Yeah. So you can actually make it a recurring
subscription model. That makes sense more than like updating your whole restaurant.
The little things like that every year.
Well, they need that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and even the St. Paddy's Day one is a good one because Irish pubs are all like full of tons of supplies that they need.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing is like, does the owner go out to the dollar store and grab hats? And because like again, the price of convenience and the curation, like what if the hats suck? Like just knowing that you're getting it.
You're also
from the
super
right
busy.
person.
If you're running a restaurant, you're busy as hell.
You're busy. You're also crazy. So those people don't want to be doing that.
The people running these box subscriptions can see the latest TikTok trends and build that into their yearly things. There you go.
Yeah.
No, you transition it however you like to.
So ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, is the most valuable startup in the world. Oh, sorry. I'll do this. The most valuable startup in the world is ByteDance, TikTok's parent company. So outside of TikTok, they have 3 other 100 million user apps.
That was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Because I knew about TikTok, and I thought TikTok came from the dancing one. It was called something Lee.
It was Musical.ly, but they bought that.
Yeah, but
and turned it into TikTok.
And I thought that was the only thing they had.
No.
What else they got?
So they got, it's called Toutiao. It's a news app. It's like a news aggregator app. They have Douyin, which is TikTok's predecessor. And they have Zigua Video, an online video platform. I'm not entirely sure what these platforms are, but I'm assuming that might be like a YouTube alternative of some sort.
Can I just say that you pronounce those pretty confidently?
Huh?
Considering those were all 3 Chinese words.
Yeah.
Did you look up the pronunciation?
I didn't.
You just did that.
I did that
raw.
Yeah.
I would have done so much more.
I know. I feel like I just got to be confident with it.
So TikTok is doing long form content and their own long form content, and then they're also created a platform for people to put their own short form content. So they're just really a content company.
Oh, it's huge. So ByteDance is just like any other tech company. It iterates over its products really fast and thoroughly. So similar to how Instagram, every tech company does that, especially if you're in a startup phase. And they do broad exploration by just creating a lot of apps. So 140 plus apps within 2 years. So they've created a lot of apps. Yeah.
Wait. That doesn't sound normal. 140 apps in 2 years?
Yeah.
It's like an app a week.
Yeah. Google does the same thing. Yeah.
Google makes 140 apps a year?
Well, no, sorry. They make a lot. This is a substantial amount.
Okay.
Clearly. But but their approach is if we create more apps, the more likely something's going to hit and
something going to stick. So they just have
a shotgun approach.
Game.
Yeah, exactly. But here's something that they do differently from other tech companies. So ByteDance uses a shared service platform that includes technology that is interchangeable across applications. So they build one component, an algorithm, and they share that amongst all of their applications. So it's one code base. So when you're going on to Douyin or Tatsao, whatever it might be, you're using the same TikTok algorithm, which is crazy. And then also their technical staff who work across multiple, so they have all their technical staff.
Yep.
They work across multiple projects, not just one. So you know how usually I would be assigned to the product team on the Facebook app on iOS if I was working at Facebook, right?
Yes.
These engineers are working on multiple projects within the company.
At the same time?
At the same time.
And why is that? What's the advantage there?
So, I don't know. It must bring a huge productivity increase because they have a selective focus on themes for years at a time. So their themes will be short form video.
I see.
That's a good one. And they'll focus on that exclusively for a while. And yeah, it's crazy. And I just got to say how they almost just came out from nothing. They just completely came out. But before we've seen, I think the closest thing we've seen was Snapchat. They tried to do something like this and they just couldn't.
They didn't have the same work ethic, I feel at Snapchat. They didn't work fast enough. I feel ByteDance has been such a worthy opponent. I think even some of the competitors have said that. I think Zuckerberg said they're a worthy opponent because they moved so quickly to the point where Facebook actually couldn't catch up with them. They just kept accelerating. And the idea that they're using core components between all of their apps and sharing that is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. ByteDance has been evaluated at $400 billion.
That's nuts.
$400 billion.
Crazy. They're still a private company, or?
I think so.
They're not publicly traded.
Yeah.
Well, that's very impressive. So
that's nuts.
When you say 140 apps though, in a year or 2 years?
2 years.
Google's a fair comparison as far as volume, but Google is a tech company. Isn't ByteDance more of a social media content company?
No, they're definitely a tech company.
So you wouldn't compare them to Facebook with Instagram and or like, you know what I mean?
Well, like it's similar to that, I guess. Yeah, but Facebook's a tech company. Like even though they do it's kind of like if you consider Google's not a news company. They just curate news with their technology.
They have Alphabet has tons of companies, right? So like what I'm saying is ByteDance compared to Facebook, considering Facebook is like a more valuable incumbent, huge across the world, like they're not doing anywhere near that many apps.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, at least from what I'm aware of. Like,
no, I don't think so either.
So 140 is nuts.
Yeah. I think that's just kind of the approach. They just want to shotgun it. One's going to land eventually. It's kind of like almost like TikTok. You scroll through it, you watch 140 TikToks. One of them
and you figure it out.
It's going to figure you out eventually. What if they have an algorithm for building apps in the real world somewhere?
Probably do. They're probably building it right now. It's probably why they got these developers shifting it, focus every year. Probably training a machine learning.
It's scary, man. It's scary. It's like watching kind of the biggest like social media company become not an American based one or a Western based one, like but instead one in China. It's pretty crazy.
Does that freak you out that ByteDance is not American?
A little bit, yeah.
Why do I trust America? I'm Canadian. Why do I trust America?
I mean, I don't trust. It's funny because I don't even trust Facebook. Right? Yeah. There's been so much scandal with that, but I think at least we have somewhat of transparency within our politics and our justice system that wants to at least be in the right direction. While over there, it's almost like the Wild West. Mm-hmm. Gambling it's like gambling.
I wonder the Wild East.
The Wild East.
Yeah, true. I wonder if they they work with their government at all. Like I wonder if ByteDance works with the Chinese government from like more of a, global security, spy espionage type shit. Like are they?
Well, like TikTok was almost banned. Remember?
Yeah, some like 5G shit or something. Like they were doing some.
No, I don't know. Trump just banned it or was going to ban it.
Oh yeah.
But then I think I think eventually it got sold over to Microsoft.
Did that end up? I forgot all about that. There's an American branch of TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And they like manage the app in America. Who bought that? Can you double check that story? Because I remember that story was big. I just don't know.
It might be Oracle. So I think what happened, it was going to go to Microsoft for sure. I mean, I don't think anyone even dealt with it after that whole situation. But I think after that happened, it was Oracle. Correct? Storm, yeah. So it was Oracle, but then I think they just completely dropped it because I think that was their only way of being able to stay in America, which would have dropped so many users.
So who owns it now? Oracle?
No, I don't think anyone does. I think the whole entire plan to do that migration was completely canceled.
When Trump didn't.
When it just was forgotten about, yeah.
So the day before that deadline, Microsoft revealed that its offer to buy the company had been rejected. In the end, TikTok struck a deal with Oracle and Walmart. However, after months of delays and legal challenges, Mr. Trump left office and the need for any sort of deal like that receded.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was a deal with Walmart and Oracle. What's
Walmart
doing? Trying to get
Actually, that was a common meme at the time. It was absolutely nuts, but it's really weird seeing just Facebook eat China's dust with this.
Yeah.
And speaking of dust, right? Have you seen what's going on with that solar based thing?
I haven't. Tell me more.
So static electricity, when you touch someone and you shock them.
Yep.
Right. It's being used to remove dust from solar panels.
How so?
Well, let me tell you. So some of the best spots to put solar farms is in the desert because lots of sun. But since it's the desert, it gets so dusty easily. You can just imagine, right? Like that just gives me so much anxiety just being covered in sand. I'm that type of person that just always has to be somewhat moist at all times. This ends up cutting the solar output by around 40%. So they don't even work as well when there's dust on them. So what they did beforehand is that they use water to get rid of the dust, but this uses over 45 billion liters of water every single year.
That's a thing, eh? They're using water right now to clean these off.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And think about it. That can provide water to over 1 million people per year. But yeah, so anyway, a metallic plate, it hovers above the dust-covered panel, and an electric field of around 12 kilovolts was applied between the plate and the panel. This caused both layers to become electrodes, conductors that make contact with a non-metallic part of a circuit. and that just completely cleans it off.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they didn't think of that earlier is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Like, they got electricity, they're connecting it there locally.
And I think what it was at first is because in order for static electricity to actually work, the air needs to have some sort of moisture. And because it's the desert, it's so dry. But they found out that even the driest desert has at least some moisture in the air, no matter what it is. So it is pretty interesting.
I mean, I would like to see a video of that, like the static
of it happening. Yeah,
like just like relieving all of the dust off of it somehow. Like, does it just fire off to like flies off?
Yeah, I'm wondering too. Like, does it shoot it in a direction, or is it just kind of like making levitate. It disappear?
Yeah, see, I need to see it. I feel like that's like a weird thing because like it would probably be really satisfying to watch. It would. Like if it's like moving through the solar panel, like just.
I wonder if they found out because they wanted to create like one of those satisfying YouTube videos where they're like,
that's where it came from,
and then they're like, oh shit, this could actually.
There's not a video of it in the article, is there?
See, I don't think there was. No.
No worries. Maybe we'll find one later. Oh, it looks. There's a good graphic of it though.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It looks like it actually almost like absorbs it like a vacuum. It seems.
I think the dust sticks to it as it hovers over it.
And do you think they use like a motor or something to like have it be lifted onto that metallic plate and then it just drops it off somewhere?
Must be back onto the desert, back onto the ground.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
So not death upon arrival, but decentralized autonomous organizations, something that Storm's been wanting us to talk about for
a long time.
Since like week 2. And we're finally going to talk about it today because it felt like the right time. There was an article about a group that started a DAO to raise...
So what is a DAO? Like, tell me what a DAO is.
A DAO is it's like a Web3 thing. And pretty much it's an organization that's governed by a set of rules that are all put into like a smart contract. So pretty much like these, crypto, I think more specifically blockchain technologies. And groups are getting together to use these governance systems in really like fun and surprising ways. And it just shows you that there's so many things that could be done, but people just don't trust each other, so they don't do it. So one example of this is...
so I have to be like part of this blockchain to be part of like an organization that makes decisions.
Yeah, it's a membership,
okay.
Right? And then you join the DAO, and the DAO has a set of rules, and you agree to those rules to join. And then when you join, you participate in those rules. And this DAO aimed to raise $4 billion to buy the Denver Broncos. There's other DAOs being formed to purchase real estate, art. There's tons of different things. And the reason is because if I was like, hey guys, give me your money, we'll go buy something. The first issue is that you guys don't trust me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think just that level of like human trust has prevented people from collectively working together on problems.
Yeah.
So now you got this DAO that's like, yeah, we all put our money in, we'll all buy the Denver Broncos, and then we'll all own the Denver Broncos, and this is how we'll operate the team. Now, apparently it didn't go through, is what it sounds like, but they tried to. And I guess this broadens up a bigger question about DAOs and our industry specifically, because consulting is a massive, massive industry. I think it was like $250 billion, and people are they're talking about like Fiverr, but for services like design or branding or consulting or advertising. What are your thoughts on that, Lewis? Do you think we're going to lose our jobs to these DAOs?
No, hell no.
Why not?
I don't know if I 100% trust DAOs. I don't think they're going to be around. I think the blockchain right now is kind of a technology that's just too early, and it's it's too much like, how can I explain this here? It's almost like they found a solution before a problem. That's what I found with these blockchains, because at the moment it's almost brought more problems than solutions at the moment. Think about this. The blockchain takes so long to verify anything. So anything's verified by the blockchain. So are you assuming that maybe consultation will be done by, like, if I looked up your profile, all these jobs that you've done will be verified by the blockchain?
Yeah. You can't lie about what you've done, because the transactions would be on the blockchain as well.
I mean, we kind of even talked about it in the gambling segment that we did. I just find that right now, cryptocurrency and the way the blockchain works, it's cool technology. I like blockchain technology, and I do think it has potential, but I think right now it doesn't. I don't think anything can be blockchain, because I think there's so many more problems. I think the only thing that really made sense that blockchain was solving was the way currency was being held. But it seems like now they're like trying to apply it to everything.
So I have a different take on it. I don't think that people will go onto a platform and use the blockchain-backed DAO to hire a company, because I think when you use a platform like Fiverr, because there's a middleman, you also get the security and the promise of, the right work, or, to solve disputes and to provide insurance, right? But I don't agree with what you're saying about, I guess, the viability of it. And the reason is I don't actually think that they were there the blockchain isn't there really fundamentally about transactions. I think fundamentally the blockchain's about transparency. And I think that can be applied to pretty much everything in the world to make a better world that's more transparent. So I see it being used in clubs and in groups and different maybe nonprofit organizations as a way to have clear communication that's transparent, so that decisions can be made based on merit rather than a governance system where there's like a person that's like the chair of the board, and then they make all the decisions, or the executive director makes all the decisions, and then everyone else is like supporting this thing, but it all relies on one person. A cool example, I saw a TikTok by a guy named Engineer, and he was talking about DAOs, and he said he was thinking about a gym execution of this. And this is basically how he described it working. So he said you would start with 1,000 memberships as NFTs. You would sell half to early investors at half price or a discounted price. And then all that money goes into a treasury and earns yield in DeFi. So now it's making money for you. Then you would use the treasury to go rent or buy space or put down a down payment on equipment. Then you would start a timer on that annual NFT memberships. Now all those memberships are 1-year memberships. And then you would open it up to the market. Early investors can sell at the profit. So the ones that came in to support it and that don't actually want to go to the gym, they just want to help start a gym. They would make money off of their memberships. And then as a member, every time that you spend a minute in that gym, you would scan in. Obviously, you have to scan out so they know how long you spent in there. You earn a governance token. And then that gives you power to make voting decisions and about, if we should add more members, do we have space for more members?
Because it knows you are an actual active member of that gym.
So like, who better to decide how many people should be at the gym than the members? And imagine, let's say 5 dudes owned a gym. What are they going to, when you ask them, should we add more members? What are they going to say? Yeah, more members means more money. Let's do it. But like, they're not going to know as much what the power of member users know about, no, there's no more space, or about the equipment to buy. I think we should get that machine, but the power users will know what machines are important. And the thing is too, it's not just one power user. Everyone gets governance tokens based on how much time they spend. So basically more merit is given to people.
Can you sell your governance tokens?
I would say the governance tokens are assigned to the membership, I would say. So
okay, because what happens if I wanted to, like, if some big rich person wanted to screw this whole entire thing up?
You would buy a membership and have to start from scratch.
So your governance tokens are removed once you sell your membership?
I would say for example, I was like the biggest power user ever, and I was there every single day, and then I was like, I'm done at this gym, I'm moving to another city, I sell my membership, because they're NFTs, right? They're on the marketplace.
Yeah.
I sell my membership. I don't think it comes in with all my governance tokens baked in. I think I give my membership to somebody else, and then it resets their governance tokens.
Sorry. Do you know if that's how it works or not?
No, this is all a hypothesis.
Oh, okay.
This is how I don't think there is a gym that does this yet.
No, definitely not.
But I do think that this is a great example of where it could be used really effectively. And I'm not a communist by any means, but you know how people that are on the social side, they believe in like taking, the ownership is collective amongst the group of labor.
For sure.
I think this would actually be a cool way to implement that. Like you could start like in your town, if there's a great mine to mine, like there's a coal reserve or whatever, you could start a DAO where people can contribute and then they can work there and then they can own a piece of the capital and, join a board, and it could almost be run like a social enterprise, but there's no capital owners. And it honestly might even run better when people at the bottom that are working there are contributing to the decisions being made.
That is a really neat idea. If it can be done. I know there's some blockchains out there, Storm, you might know better than I do, where transaction fees aren't as crazy as you think, right? But it all kind of comes down to, again, it's just we're almost like shifting that 1% of assets, of capital, etc., and like bringing it down to another level. And that's what I feel like blockchain has been doing.
I think with these decentralized autonomous organizations, the beauty about it is that it's autonomous and decentralized, I guess.
Yeah.
And that it could operate without any single person and operate independently. So even like a co-working space, we built one because we thought the community needed one. We don't make any money off of it. If anything, we lose money on it. But it's an important thing that we felt doing would, inspire creativity, bring entrepreneurs together. So far, multiple companies have actually been born in our co-working space, and the people that met in our co-working space. So there's value there, but we had to step up and put the money down and get the space to do it. If you can start DAOs in your community and say, hey, like I'm starting a co-working DAO, who wants to join?
Yeah.
Then you all join, and then none of the money gets spent until everyone decides majority rules on a location. And then when they do that, there's already governance in place. You know what, actually? We could sell DAOs in a box.
DAOs in a box.
That could be locally leveraged, right? Because if we came up with a great governance system to create co-working spaces, now we could package that and sell that DAO. Not even sell it, actually. Actually, maybe you just charge a royalty. So the DAO, part of the rules of the DAO is all the money that's generated, 1% goes to the curator that made the DAO and the governance system. And now if you want to start one in your community, you just mint your DAO, and then people have to be local citizens to join, and then there you go. You've got a DAO. DAO in a box.
DAO in a box. And will it collect static electricity dust as well?
I don't know if I can make that work. But there's definitely I think I guess to summarize, there is a lot more in store for our world and these decentralized autonomous organizations, both in communities and in community-driven goals and projects, but also I think in businesses. I think the idea of, hey guys, I found this property, I want to build a condo. I can't get money to do it. Does 500 people on the internet want to start a real estate investment trust and we'll build this condo and then benefit from it? I think you wouldn't be able to trust some Joe Schmo on the internet, but if you had that smart contract in place and you had an autonomous organization where everyone got a say,
it's almost like it's almost like replacing the need for a lawyer or a legally binding document.
Yeah. And the thing is, that is right there. That is a point of friction in innovation today. The fact that we want to do business, but first we need a lawyer, then we need an agreement, and then we need trust, and we need all those things before we can take action. I think that a lot of the time, those are the things that are stopping people from making innovation and doing things. Yeah. So the more that our world pulls away different layers of friction, the faster that we're going to innovate and the better that we're going to be able to innovate in our lives.
If there's a DAO with a lawyer on the team, with all the people you need on the team that collaborate, then it's like a one-stop shop, right? You go to this DAO is set up to help small businesses get to the next step.
Yeah.
Right. And it's an equal opportunity provider sometimes too, right? Because the people that work in these, you might never see them. So you're not discriminating against race, gender, those kind of things, right? Because they can work pretty anonymously and still have that trust of the contract without knowing the other person.
Yeah. Kind of right now though, it's very almost elitist or classist, because only higher class, considering us, right? The top 1% is only able to do it.
Yeah. And I think mostly right now, DAOs are just money printing Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
And the people that are participating are crypto bros. So I think the technology's early adopters are kind of giving it a bad look.
It's kind of funny because I definitely agree. It's funny how we talked about gambling, and I think that's why I even mentioned it, is because the first 20 years, it was just, a criminal's heaven, right? And that's why I think maybe that's where crypto is right now. I think the technology is really cool.
Yeah, me too. I think there's a lot of promise there.
So last week we did Time's Best Inventions of last year, and we really enjoyed the quick nature of the topics, moving from one story to another and having short, quick ideas with it. So we are trying out a new segment this week called Snips. It's just some news articles that came out in the last couple of days, and we're going to give quick takes on it and move kind of fast through these ones and hopefully get some great TikToks from it. That's the goal.
Short form content. Follow us on social media, guys.
Yeah. Do we read them back and forth? Do you want me to do one?
Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Snip, snap, snip, snap. Right. Who wants to be Snip?
You can go first, Lewis.
All right. So on Sunday morning, football legend Tom Brady was in retirement, and the ball from his final touchdown pass was auctioned off for $500,000. Oh my goodness. Imagine having that in your house for $500,000. Hours later, Brady came out of retirement, meaning the football will lose almost all of its value, which just utterly sucks for the buyer.
That blows. You know what I think? You know what I think happened? The guy that bought that ball for $500,000 probably slept with Giselle, Tom Brady's wife. And he saw it. He's like, "Fuck this guy," and he like came out of retirement just to like drop the value of that ball.
Yeah.
You know, dramatically. Does anyone know what that's worth now? Is there now that the person owns it, do they just like keep it because they like?
I mean, they can have it, but it's just like it's no longer his final ball. Like no one cares. So unless Tom Brady completely shits the bed next season.
You know what? The only way to salvage this would be is if when Tom Brady decides to retire, they come back and they use this ball. They're like, hey, like they talk to the NFL. Yeah. They're like, hey guys, like this guy paid $500,000 for my last ball. When I play my last game, can we use this ball? I think that would fix the problem.
What would make this even more valuable? This is how he can get his $500,000 back, but he has to follow these steps carefully. When Tom Brady gets another touchdown, he's going to the interview. What this guy does, he needs to run up behind Tom Brady, like just streaking completely naked, hit him with the ball in the back of the head and scream at him. Make sure it's on camera so it's viral. Now you have a more unique ball.
Oh, so basically
there's a few balls in that idea.
So basically turning that ball from the last game ball to the naked streaking guy throw the ball at Tom
Pissed
Brady's
off
head.
Guy, yeah.
Pissed off guy.
Yeah, and you create a story. That's what people want. They want the story behind the art.
Now, would it be $500,000 though for that?
Maybe if he made it an NFT as well.
Yeah, or maybe this guy's play is now he owns the last ball and he owns the NFT for Tom Brady's. So maybe what Tom Brady needs to do is Tom Brady needs to mint an NFT for this and say whoever owns this ball and NFT is now entitled to my actual final game ball. So basically it's like a predefined ownership of when that ball arrives, whatever that ball is. This person will get it. And that might be that way this might turn into like a $2 million ball. It's like,
half. I just can't even believe that. Imagine that though. Imagine buying that for $500,000 and then it just completely drops in value 2 hours later.
It says hours later. So just imagine like you just did that.
You don't even have time to celebrate. You got to finish off work.
Well, maybe you do. What if you throw a party and you're like, and then someone's like, hey guys, I just saw that Tom Brady's coming out of retirement. Like, what does that party look like?
It's like a funeral.
It's like everyone was just like celebrating, popping bottles. We got Brady's last ball. Woo. And then like just getting that news, like everyone's just like,
I would cry. I would,
devastating.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? IG moderators. Let me click on this here. Sorry, guys. Didn't know that was going to be my snap. So Instagram is going to be doing moderators for live streams. They're calling it live moderators on Instagram Live, where creators can assign a mod and give them power to report comments, remove viewers from live, and turn off comments for a viewer. I don't know if I care about this.
It's like,
I don't do live streams.
No, I know, but it's funny because think about like a Twitch streamer. They have moderators, or like a Discord moderator. Now we have IG moderators. You know that typical, like how like a Discord moderator would look like? They're like from Reddit. They got their fedora on. They're like leaned back in their chair. They're like telling you not to post memes on general. That's what how is an IG moderator going to look like?
An IG moderator drinks flat belly tea, has a Invisalign, great hair. I think an IG moderator is like a hot dude or a hot chick, just like, it's probably super woke, like that's what an IG moderator is to me.
So like, but that's great because maybe opposites attract. A Discord moderator and an IG moderator get together.
How about this?
And they moderate.
What moderator would you marry and why? You had to pick one between the two. Would you rather marry a Discord moderator or an IG moderator?
A Discord moderator.
Why?
Because they get the law laid down.
They
lay down the law. Don't post memes in general. You're banned for 24 hours. They take that shit seriously.
So you want to date someone that's that intense?
Well, yeah. Think about how much of a better person you'll be after that.
True. Yeah, I feel like maybe the IG moderator is like the fling you have in high school.
They're too lax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're doing that all on their phone. Like these people, like these it's a different breed of people, dude. I've seen these Discord moderators, Reddit moderators. Like they're scary people, man. They're scary people.
And that Instagram news was found on Twitter.
Yeah.
It was.
I thought you guys would like that.
Did Instagram tweet that?
Yep.
Nice. They didn't.
Nice.
I didn't see it on Instagram.
Yeah.
To make a post if I have like no followers. Go to
CD sales are on the rise.
Epic.
So why do you think CD sales would be on the rise?
Well, you know what's kind of funny? Looking at this chart, it's like it went down so much, like so much, and then it's obviously increased just a tiny bit for the first time. So I don't know if this means like CDs are coming back.
No,
because it looks like they're at 50 on this chart, and at one point they were at 1,000. So
I think they're just kind of like cool collective, kind of similar to vinyls. What I loved, and this was just kind of like a pure aesthetic thing, but I just loved in my old 2007 Ford Focus, it only had a CD player as the radio. So just having that CD where I can like unplug it, take it out the case, put it in my, and having that album art.
that feel like, so people collect vinyls because it's like nostalgic, but like,
I feel like it's just also like it's almost like replacing art almost. It's like you're killing two birds with one stone. It's like an art piece on my wall. I can show you what I like.
Yeah. It's like a statement about your identity. But the problem is for us, it's not really nostalgic. Like, did you grow up listening to records?
No.
I actually did.
Really?
Yeah, I actually did. So weirdly enough, we actually grew up with a record player, and
Nice.
we actually played records in our house. But like, I don't remember. It was like when I was really little. So as far as my music journey, like I was getting songs from LimeWire and shit like that,
Yeah,
like
me too.
torrenting stuff. So like to me, like vinyls are never nostalgic, but they are aesthetic. I don't know if CDs have the feel.
I think they do have the feel.
That vinyls have. I just don't know.
Like, are you talking about like from a sound point of view?
No, from like a physical, like.
I think they do, man.
Really?
I think it's like, I think the Walkman is like kind of almost coming back from an aesthetic purpose. If you see people, think about those baggy jeans, like the bell-bottom jeans.
90s are coming back.
Yeah, the 90s have been coming back, and they're coming at a rapid rate.
So people are going to have Walkmans again and be like collecting CDs?
I think that will be. I mean, I think they'll do that as a fashion statement more than anything. But
just to show that they're cool.
Yeah, like, oh, listen, like
interesting.
hipsters.
Yeah, like so just like the people that used to be like, I collect vinyls are now going to be people that say, I collect CDs.
I don't know if it'll be a perfect Venn diagram, like where they're in the same circle. Might have a little bit of crossover, but people say that vinyls sound different than digital when you listen to it, and there's an argument there. I think CDs sound exactly the same as digital. I don't think there's an argument that way.
Arguably maybe worse.
But if someone wants something that's really close to the same sound quality, but they also want to support the artist directly instead of only a couple cents on the stream, maybe that could be a way of doing it. So that's probably where CDs fall in, but it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's been going down forever, and then all of a sudden had a blip going up last year.
Yeah, so vinyls have a different frequency map than CDs and everything else. So there's like a warm, vintagey top end is a little bit different sound that comes with vinyl. CDs are just digital information being read by a computer. Yeah. So apparently Pete Davidson is going to space.
Go on.
So Blue Origin is doing its 4th human flight, and Pete Davidson is apparently going to be part of the crew to go up there, which I didn't read too much about, to be completely honest with you, but I thought it was kind of funny because like right now he's like in the height of all the controversy with
Ski
Kanye.
Davidson,
with all Kanye West. So my thinking is probably Kanye's called Jeff Bezos and is like, listen, man, I need you to take care. You're from one billionaire to another billionaire. I need you to take care of this guy for me. And he's probably not coming back down for Kim K. I think I think they're gonna lose Pete Davidson in space.
They should have. I mean, like Kanye's close with Elon. Actually, that's probably why Pete Davidson probably always wanted to go to space, but he knew he couldn't hit up Elon because they're so tight with Kanye.
Yeah, so he went to go with Bezos.
So he went to with Bezos. Yeah, wow.
So it's
actually no wait, that is actually added on to the SpaceX and Blue Origin feud. Oh, you're friends with Kanye? I'm friends with Skeet.
Yeah, that's like it's like the family's choosing sides.
Yeah, wow.
So apparently there's going to be a 6-person crew, and it also includes Party America CEO Marty Allen philanthropist and real estate mogul Mark Hagel and his wife, Sharon Hagel, and the founder of nonprofit Space Kids Global. It's like, what the fuck is Skeet Davidson doing?
Yeah, that sounds like the worst like joint circle of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who I'd want to smoke a joint with less.
What kind of conversation is he having with them? You know, like, so your first time in space? Yeah. One of them's like a huge Kanye stan. Like Sharon Hagel, the founder of the nonprofit Space Kids, is like sitting there just like giving him the death eye.
Yeah. Yeah, like conveniently, one of them decided to wear their Yeezys that day. Yeah, their 350s.
Yeah, if I'm going to space, I want killer kicks.
So realistically, when are we getting an opportunity? If Pete's going up there now, what's that do for the timeline for the rest of us getting trips up to space?
Oh, I would say, I mean, I think we'll all go to space if we want to by the end of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I can't tell
15
you.
years from now, I think we're going to be able to have the opportunity to go to space for a fairly high price, but not like multi-millions of dollars.
And then I think before the end of our life, it'll be something that if you want to do, you can do. But you have to really want it probably. Now, the thing that's like hard for people to understand is like how technology it's like because it's exponential. Nobody can really comprehend how much innovation accelerates. Like even if you think about like the computers we're using, right? Or the cameras that we use or our phones, like 20 years ago, what they look like versus now. It's so hard to like understand that exponential curve.
Yeah.
So I think with space travel, it's the same idea. Like it doesn't feel like we'll be traveling to space in 15, 20 years, but it's certainly very viable. I think electric cars, like I remember telling like, you know, people in my own family, like, hey, like by the year 2025, like they're going to be mostly electric cars on the road. And it was like impossible for people to comprehend.
Yeah. It is definitely, it's an exponential curve.
Yep.
It's exponential. I agree.
So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do a fast forward episode in space.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so epic.
And if we can't go, I guess we can at least experience it in AR and VR maybe.
Yeah. Speaking of AR.
Yeah. Niantic, so they are the company behind Pokemon Go, one of the biggest kind of AR experiences that most people have tried. They have acquired a company called Eighth Wall. Now, Lee and I, and possibly Storm, know what Eighth Wall is. We've used it before, but it's basically an accessible way for you to use AR on your phone. So you use it on your web browser on your phone, and it activates your camera, and you can use and create it's like almost like a developer tool to build your own AR experiences within the web.
Yeah.
So if I'm holding up if I wanted to like scan something on the wall, it can then pop up on the wall and do this all on the web using JavaScript. It's pretty impressive. We've used it for a couple of years now.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a great experience. So Eighth Wall has been a great partner for our company, and both the times that we did those apps, we were able to like really come up with something cool. So I'm hoping that we can keep using the tool and doing some more like metaverse projects here at Tomorrow Inc.
It's really interesting. I think AR it needs to be more accessible before it really becomes a mainstream hit. So I think them acquiring Eighth Wall is a really cool way of doing it. I'm just reading now that Niantic also did a Pikmin themed game. So it's pretty impressive having Nintendo's IPs to help fuel their innovation.
Yeah,
it really is helping them a lot, especially with Pokemon Go. Oh man, those days were good.
That game was huge. Still is pretty big actually from what I'm hearing.
It's wild that there hasn't been a second one. Like there hasn't been something as big as Pokemon Go. It's just like the only one right now.
I just don't know how you could top that. I think basically kids across the world since their childhood have dreamed of a world where they could go out and catch Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like my son's a Pokemon fan. That's all he wants. He's like, Dad, is there any way that we can make a world where I can go and catch Pokemon? Like he doesn't want to play the game. He wants to live the show. He wants to do the thing. And then when they came out with the AR Pokemon Go, that was the closest that we could get to this dream.
Yeah.
And something in something deeply embedded in our hearts and souls just got activated. We're just like, yes, like we're full grown adults. I had a kid and I was like out at the park playing Pokemon Go. And so was everyone else. And it was like the whole community was there. Like everyone wanted it. And
it was honestly a better time in life.
Hard to top that.
I'm just wondering because like why didn't they have? Because we just talked about exponential growth and AR is still a very early technology. And like to keep it real with you, the Pokemon app was not like it wasn't revolutionary AR.
No.
Even at the time. At the time, I still wasn't blown away by it, and that was native on an application. So I feel like why hasn't Pokemon Go innovated on new AR technology?
Well, the beginning of any exponential curve is very, very lateral movement. So I think we're at the beginning of the exponential curve in regards to AR technology. Yeah. And that's why it's like, oh, we got like a cool AR project for like every 5 years. Then it was like every year, and then it was every month, and it'll like it'll ramp up that way. But I think for now, they still remain like the coolest project, and hopefully we get something new. Them buying Niantic shows that they're trying to get better tech, because Niantic has crazy tech under the hood.
Eighth Wall, you mean, right?
Sorry, yes, Eighth Wall has crazy tech, and Niantic, they have great publishing and game development and IP. So I think combined with Eighth Wall's technology, they'll do lots of cool things.
It's kind of funny you say that, because there probably already has been a Pokemon Go type game that is way better than Pokemon Go, but it just really shows how intellectual property is like so important. Like like Nintendo, like they'll never go bankrupt.
Yeah, we didn't buy into Pokemon Go because the features or the functionality or the user experience. We bought into Pokemon Go because the story it told us. It was
like, a Charmander.
You could go get a Pokemon. You can go catch them all, and that was something that we all wanted.
Yeah.
Didn't matter what the game was like.
No.
Didn't matter that it drained your battery. Remember how bad that was?
There was someone who literally was carrying this gigantic car battery with them, plugged in to catch Pokemon all day.
Yeah. Rest in peace, your phone bats.
Yeah.
Just have to catch Pikachu and he can charge your phone right back up.
This is kind of a funny story. Mark Zuckerberg is going all in on NFTs. Yeah. So apparently at South by Southwest, he was speaking, and he kind of not so formally announced that, and he said this way: "I'm not ready to announce exactly what that's going to be today, but over the next several months, you'll get the ability to bring some of your NFTs in, and hopefully over time be able to mint things within that environment." This is what he said when he was describing the future of NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, on the photo sharing platform.
So is South by Southwest a music festival?
It's like a cultural event. So there's music, there's tech, there's even film. Okay. It's like it's just a festival, and they have tech entrepreneurs, and they have conferences and stuff like that.
I thought Mans was just like at a music festival and like whispered it to a fan or something.
Like just up there with Yachty, comes on stage.
Yeah, he's like super drunk one time. He's super stressed from all the whistleblowers. He's like, "We're going to have NFTs on the platform.
I'm not supposed to be saying this right now, but I just want you guys to know NFTs are coming."
Like, you can mint them.
No one's reacting. He's just up there like, no one's reacting, so he just starts leaking more information. We can mint them.
Wait until someone gets excited.
I can't handle it. We definitely think it's too funny just because of how much we like to clown on Zuckerberg. Picture him just drunk on stage.
I could just picture his face like that, the one he was getting interrogated by Congress with. He's just like this, looking at the audience, like waiting for someone to.
And no one's reacting, so he just keeps leaking more information. Cheryl's like on the phone with him after, like, "Dude, what the hell were you thinking, Mark?" And he's just like, "I don't know, meta."
What I'm interested in specifically is how they're going to completely change the language of this so it's more accessible. Because right now, it's actually a joke. Like, oh, what is an Pete Davidson actually has a song called that. Like, what the hell's an NFT?
Yeah.
Right? But like, it's true. Most people, like, they hear about it. They hear about crypto. They're like, wow, that's just nuts, right? I have no idea. So I'm interested in hearing what the language that they're going to use to transform NFTs, minting, etc., to be in the Instagram ecosystem.
Also, I mean, I wouldn't even know about the technology that they're going to use, but I'm also wondering like how they're going to, because like there isn't anything I can buy on Facebook now that's from them as a consumer. I can buy as an advertiser. That's been their big thing. That's where they make their money.
They have Instagram Shop. Have you ever used that before?
Yeah, but the thing is, so with Instagram Shop, it's just connecting to Shopify. That's like how it's built in. So I don't think Facebook gets any money from that. I think Facebook's just like been just a platform.
Okay.
Shopify makes the money on the transactions, and then the person selling the thing made money selling the thing.
Yeah.
But with this, there could be an opportunity for Facebook to be like kind of like a MetaMask or OpenSea or something, like kind of like a platform, and charge fees for their services. If NFTs do become basically like what they're supposed to become, and right now a very small percentage of the world is using them and understands them, but when everyone does, like, Facebook's going to be potentially like the biggest player in the marketplace.
Yeah. Well, imagine taking a percentage of every transaction from USD, or like taxes. Like, think about like so much money.
Yeah. So I definitely think this is good for them because it's a good revenue opportunity.
They've also already ventured into like a crypto based. I remember this happened a long time ago, but it was to be able to pay people through Facebook. It was like a Facebook coin or something. And I think it was done with MasterCard as well. Do you remember this, Storm?
Yeah. DM?
Yeah, or something like that. It was a stable coin of some sort. Just
Wait,
there.
Facebook stable coin?
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that. What happened to that?
It failed.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Zuck's still going back into it.
He's like,
that was his first. That was him at Coachella.
That was him at Coachella, but no one reacted. So he's at home. He's like, fuck, no one even cared. What if we changed Facebook to Meta?
And then I go back.
And then I do it because then people will take me seriously.
Zuck low-key just is the biggest crypto bro of all time.
Did you hear what they called the employees now? They're called meta mates. They have to call each other meta mates.
You're
What
joking,
did they call
right?
them before? Face mates?
Face definitely not face mates.
Face mates.
I mean, that's worse, right?
Yeah.
Meta mates.
Meta mates. Are you serious?
How
That
about,
they call
how
them
about,
that?
how about meta mans and meta womans? I guess you can't do that these days.
Yeah, he wants them to be called meta mates, and they're like not wanting to be called that. And then they're like, you get paid a lot of money to work there. So
Wait,
maybe-
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Zuck wants them to be called meta mates.
What does Zuck want people at his company called?
Meta mates?
Meta mates.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Zuck wants to name his staff meta mates.
Why?
Could you imagine?
What were they called before?
Hello, meta mates at like Facebook's like internal conference, and no one cheers.
I bet if you went to a daycare as a kid, they wouldn't even call you that. They'd be like, they're older now. They
Yeah.
like to be called by their first names.
Yeah, Zuck, I'm a 55-year-old engineer. Metamate? Yeah.
Meta mates.
That's so. I mean, Zuck's a funny guy. I don't think Zuck gets it. I don't know how he stumbled. I don't know how he stumbled across billions of dollars in the most powerful company in the world. But I still don't think he gets it.
There's something about Zuck. There's something about Zuck.
Yeah,
Zucky McLucky for sure.
Zucky McLucky. But I think Instagram will be the same thing because Instagram is literally flex haven.
Yeah.
Right. That's where all the flex assists and Flexibon.
Yeah.
That's where they all exist. And to flex well on Instagram, they need to have like verified NFTs. They can show, what they've got, and they can brag and yeah. So I think it'll be cool. I think it's definitely coming. It's funny how you announced it. One more funny story I want to get your take on, Lewis.
Last week we talked about bionic arms. This week we're talking about bionic eyes.
Yeah, and this is so true. So instead of pouring drinks, this device gives you sight. So one of them more essential than the other. And here's a pretty fucked up story.
Who needs to see?
So apparently there's like 350 patients with a bionic eye in their fucking face. And the company that makes them is just like closing shop on that product.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So these patients are quite literally left in the dark.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at the BBC News article. They literally said obsolete tech leaves patients in there. What freaking assholes that to literally say that about blind people?
And like, look at the picture.
Like, as a joke. Yeah.
Look at the picture at the top of the article. Mans has got a you just want to feel horrible for him.
Yeah, I do. And these BBC is making them a laughing stock.
Yeah, it's not like you have like an outdated old Android phone that you have to like recycle. Yeah. It's like this guy.
You don't need a phone. It's like giving someone sight and then removing it. That's like.
Well, here's the thing. So it works, but they had a surgery to put it in, and then sometimes they have faulty issues with the technology. So they have like created like little groups and forums, and they're like helping each other find like parts because the parts are not supported anymore. So can you imagine like, hey guys, I need a part for my eye. Does anyone have it? If not, I can't see.
Yeah.
How do you even go on the computer and ask that question? I want to be able to call the hotline, and say, hey guys, like my thing's busted, like help me. So I don't know. What would you like? Here's the thing. We talked about it last time in a previous conversation. We talked about the cost of innovation. Yeah. And I think even recently we talked about the Neuralink shit, right?
For sure.
Like the company with the the bio brain tool. What if you installed something in your brain and then the company that installed it disappeared?
Yeah.
That's kind of sketchy.
well, like I'm diabetic, and I think about that all the time. I think about because with the pump that I wear and the CGM that I wear, they're by like huge companies. They're not going like they need to really mess up if they. Plus, it's also there's competition. So because of that, it allows me to just switch to the competition if needed. But for this, there almost needs to be rules in place where if you want to release this to consumers or even like a test subjects, there needs to equally be enough effort put into how to take it out, you know?
Yeah. Anything that's surgical, because like if you, for example, lost the company that does your pump, you could get a new pump because there's competition there. But if you had like your eye replaced with a bionic eye and you don't have anything to put it back in there because the technology doesn't exist, you're just gonna like lose your sight. Or what if something in your brain? Yeah. And like the company that installed it literally is gone. So like now brain surgeons don't even know how to take it out of you.
It needs to be, that's kind of like the important part of it is like you have to, if you want to create something, you have to learn how to remove it.
I think maybe the answer to this is that if you want to do biohacking technology, like things like brain implants or body implants or whatever, it might need to just go through the healthcare system. I think that's the bridge. Because like when it's companies go bankrupt. But if the technology is open to the public, to medical product providers and medical service providers, then they can say, "Oh, I know that procedure. I can do it."
Yeah.
Right? So that way, you're not anchored to a private corporation that can go bankrupt. You've got like the Bionic Eye, and that Bionic Eye is like an openly available.
It needs to be
technology.
Like huge documentation on it. That's just it. Like even if you're a beta tester, alpha tester, friggin' whatever. Yeah, if
before you go to market, it has to be available for everybody.
Yeah, well, it's not even like it has to go even to this test subject. Like you need to be able to learn how to take it out or proceed because obviously this procedure happened. Maybe these people were just so desperate and they were like, "Just give me the eye. That sounds great," or they were like sold it or something.
Yeah,
but it really does need to be something you can take out.
Yeah, as we go into this next like frontier of technology of like putting things in our bodies. That's going to be important. And I think people are going to be doing shit, like shady shit, where they're like, oh, just go to Panama. And like, they'll give you like, you know, a brain implant and shit that'll make you smarter. And people will go do that stuff.
Kind of like the BBLs.
Brazilian butt lifts.
Yeah, that's what people do. Like the girls will like, actually, I saw it happen on my trip. There was, so like.
On your cruise?
So not on my cruise, on my flight back. So most girls, they go to like Mexico, wherever, most likely Mexico, because you can get a really cheap BBL there.
Nice.
Then what happens, you travel back over to Orlando, you go on the flight there and you return home. But the issue is that when you get like that huge surgery on your butt, it hurts to do anything. So they were sitting on the plane on their seat backwards. Like,
no
so
way.
Like they were on their knees. Yeah. Like they were saying it's like, we can only sit down for like no more than 2 minutes. Otherwise the whole rest of the trip, we have to it's where they hug the back of the chairs and they're on their knees on their seat.
So were they just locking eyes with you if you were the seat behind them?
I wasn't in the seat behind them. I was in a couple seats like over and to the right.
But you would have been if you were behind them. They would have just been facing you.
Probably, yeah. The entire time they would have been facing me.
What women will go through to get a Brazilian butt lift.
Yeah.
Like sitting backwards on the plane, going all the way over there.
But huge. It's kind of the same thing, right? Like, but you're open to sus stuff, right?
Yeah. And even more so when you put it in your body. I think that's where shit gets, and then when it's technology. And the thing is, the Brazilian butt lift, like if you have a complication, you go to a local provider and they can fix it. Oh, it's an infection. I know how that works. Because the Brazilian butt lift as a procedure is like a documented, safe, well understood procedure.